This is the ZNS Network, providing radio and high-definition television services for the entire Bahamas. ZNS Network is operated by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. It is located at Harcourt Rusty Bethel Drive, Centerville, Nassau. Our programming is designed to inform, educate, and entertain. We invite you to join us.
The following is a preamble of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Whereas 481 years ago, the rediscovery of this family of islands, rocks and keys, heralded the rebirth of the New World. And whereas the people of this family of islands, recognizing that the preservation of their freedom will be guaranteed by a national commitment to self-discipline, industry, loyalty, unity, and an abiding respect for Christian values and the rule of law. Now, know ye therefore, we the inheritors of, and successors to this family of islands, recognizing the supremacy of God and believing in the fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual, do hereby proclaim in solemn praise the establishment of a free and democratic sovereign nation, founded on spiritual values, and in which no man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone, or their labor exploited, or their lives frustrated by deprivation, and do hereby provide by these articles for the indivisible unity and creation under God of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
It's Tuesday, March 29th, 2022, and the morning edition is live. On today's show, the Commissioner of Police sounds off on revenge killings. School policing seeing some positive results. We take a look at men's health. And it's Mermaid Day, so let's start the morning off right.
The Morning Edition is brought to you by We Buy, You Sell Company, your leading hurricane impact windows, doors, and tile specialist.
Do something today that your future self will thank you for. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Edition. I'm LaDawn Davis. My sidekick, Charles Fisher, is still under the weather. Hopefully, he'll be back tomorrow. Have a speedy recovery, Fisher. Well, let's now take you out to our Fox Hill area where our Crystal Darling and the morning traffic team is standing by with your Tuesday morning traffic.
Good morning, LaDawn, and good morning, Bahamas. We're here on East-West Highway and Abundant Life Road, where we can see traffic is picking up for a rather busy morning this morning. Now, we know that this morning is a bit chilly. We still have some weather from the cold front, so you may want to wear a sweater if you're coming out this early this morning. But, of course, it's going to heat up throughout the day. Now, I'm here this morning with Officer Patrick Kemp, who we're on the scene of an accident. Officer Kemp, could you tell us more about what happened here this morning?
Good morning, Crystal, and good morning, Bahamas. And as you can see, the traffic collision that occurred in the area of the East-West Highway Abundant Life Road. This is just another example of what happens when persons fail to stop in obedience to the traffic light, okay? Obviously, one of the drivers would have been exiting Abundant Life on the East-West, and one would have been traveling in the direction of the roundabout Independence when this happened. One of the drivers did admit, however, that they failed to stop in obedience to the traffic light. They thought their way was clear. And I want to remind the motoring public that even in the wee hours of the morning, a lot of persons tend to say, hey, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, can I still be cited for running the traffic light? Yes, you can. All right? And I want you to pay special attention when you stop to these lights. If you're going to clear it, which you shouldn't, but if you're going to do it, you got to make sure your way is absolutely clear. In this case, this is an example of what happens when your way was not clear. And both vehicles are extensively damaged. Thank God nobody was hurt. So I want to encourage the drivers out there to please drive with special care and attention.
Okay, and we also know that this is an extraordinarily busy area, especially in the mornings and evenings. Now, talk about how accidents like these can obstruct traffic in the morning?
Well, definitely, this here is now a hindrance to the flow of traffic. And so we have officers in the area, and they'll assist with persons coming in and out of this area so that they can get to their destination safely. It does cause a bit of a congestion, and this is just another thing that happens when persons fail to adhere to the traffic signs and the traffic lights. So I want to encourage the drivers out there to please drive with due care and attention. Also, please get those cars licensed and insured. Both of these vehicles, however, are not licensed nor they're insured. And this is another problem that we're having on our streets. So I want to encourage the drivers for the very same reasons to pay attention and to get those vehicles insured.
Okay, and one last question. What is the penalty for driving with an uninsured, unlicensed vehicle?
You can pay a fine of $250 or more, depending on the court's discretion. All right, unlicensed vehicles carries a fine of $250. So if you want to look at it that way, at the minimum you will pay at least $500 before the courts for unlicensed, uninsured vehicle. And if you're allowing somebody to drive your vehicle who is not on your vehicle and covered by third-party risk insurance, that fine pretty much doubles for the owner and the driver. So again, please make sure your vehicles are properly roadworthy and pay attention to these traffic lights. There's no need to run the traffic light. As a result, this is what can happen.
Thank you so much for that this morning, Officer Kemp. Back to you in the studio, LaDawn.
Thanks a lot, Crystal. Well, staying on the outside, high pressure over the area will continue to provide dry and tranquil weather across the country. Beachgoers should continue to exercise caution due to the moderate risk of rip currents along north and east coast beaches. For our areas, weather partly to mostly sunny, warm, and a bit breezy today, becoming mostly fair and mild tonight. A small craft caution is in effect for the central and southeast Bahamas. High temperature today is 83 degrees with an overnight low of 61 degrees. Now here's a look at your extended weather forecast. With the country's homicide count showing no signs of abating, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis is continuing discussions with relevant stakeholders to identify immediate measures to reduce crime. Pastor of the Hope Center, Dr. Carlos Reed, commended the Prime Minister's vision to curb the escalating rate of crime, especially killings in this country.
One of the things that really came out was basically the use of intelligence now, and to be able to put a systematic plan in place. I don't want to preempt what the Prime Minister is going to reveal shortly, but I can say that it will be systematic, and I believe that it'll be a step in the right direction.
Commissioner of Police Paul Rowe, meantime, urging residents not to take matters into their own hands when settling grievances. Instead, he says, seek justice through the courts.
But this whole issue of retaliation has to stop. I've been saying for a while now that persons like to try to settle their disputes themselves. That's not the way civilized society behave. That's why we have the courts. Okay, when you have disputes, you should go to the court first and not try to resort strictly to violence. That mindset of Bahamian people have to change, and everybody who live in the Bahamas. And we want to keep the Bahamas safe for everybody.
The murder rate in the Bahamas is a serious concern for President of the Bahamas Christian Council, Bishop Delton Fernandez, who says the country must address gang life in the country. He insists while it requires infiltration by officers, police also need our help.
We must take over those territories and make it a no-drug zone, because this turf war is clearly about drugs and power, and even car theft. So until we break those rings, we live almost captive to these gangs.
President and CEO of Focal Holdings Limited, Dexter Adderley, contending that Russia's war in Ukraine has put oil prices in a tailspin that's seeing drivers pay more to fill up. As the local industry is price controlled, fuel wholesalers and retailers pass on a fixed cost per gallon to consumers and have little control over what motorists pay at the pumps.
We hope and pray that the effects of the rest of the suppliers around the world can adjust and stabilize the supply of oil products globally, and hopefully that will translate into some stabilization. However, we do not know where that's going to happen, when that's going to happen, but ultimately that's the way it works. And so we hope and pray that things settle down and that prices resume to a level that consumers are comfortable with.
One new COVID-19 case reported in the latest release from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, a female resident of Abaco. 8 people are in hospital fighting off the virus, just one of those cases in the intensive care unit. An additional 150 RT-PCR tests were completed and 6 more recoveries. That Junkanoo parade on Bay Street for the royal visit has everyone talking, and not just about how refreshing it was to see its return, but whether it's here to stay. This is what Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Bolek, had to say on the matter.
This was a test and trial as we move to Labor Day, as we move to the 49th, as we move to the 50th celebration, which we intend to ensure that we celebrate this 50th anniversary of the Bahamas in a grand style. And so Junkanoo is coming, whether they like it or not. Say that to those critics. And the ministry is going to do all we can to ensure that we put the necessary protocols in place, along with the other stakeholders like the Ministry of Health.
We've got to give women an opportunity to lead as well. In my experience, they've been as competent, they have been as invested in their careers and their families. So I'm extremely excited to be leading this. From a Care Bahamas perspective, that restructuring was driven by the level of competence and excellence that we found in so many of our women leaders in our organization. I'm delighted that we're not only the leader enabling connected lifestyles and experiences, but we also have women at the center of everything that we do in our leadership journey.
Long we have been educating you about kidney awareness and the impact this disease has on the body and families. And to talk more about how to better care for your kidney, live this morning is nephrologist Dr. Frederick Smith, Director of Nephrology at the Princess Margaret Hospital. Dr. Smith, welcome to the Morning Edition.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, Dr. Smith, share with us in detail the telltale signs of kidney disease and what we should actually look out for.
Well, in reality, when we start speaking of kidney disease, I think it's difficult to say the things that are specific to kidney disease, but more generally, anything that's going to be end organ damage, whether it's the liver, the heart, the kidneys, the guts, we can start to see some swelling of our feet, or we can have more specific things versus more generalized. We can have swelling of the feet. We can have an increased itching, we can have a change in hair texture, we can have a change in the color of the skin, odor of the mouth, the way that we taste things. We can start to have bubbling of the urine, looking a little frothy. So truth, we can have lots of different things that happen with kidney disease.
And how prevalent can you say kidney disease is in the country? And have you seen more cases in men as opposed to women?
I'm going to say that kidney disease, as we have started to treat every other disease, as we've started to treat diabetes, hypertension, HIV, heart disease, what we're seeing is more of a rise in the amount of kidney failure. It's a medication, it's the underlying diseases that are causing it. So to give an exact prevalence, I really can't say, but I do know that maybe at PMH now we have in our dialysis unit, we maybe have about 150, 160 dialysis patients. We have a clinic that goes on a Thursday morning, and we see up to about 20 patients every Thursday. So I think it's quite prevalent in this society.
I know we had a patient, Dr. Leonard Ramsey, and he said that taking aspirin may have contributed to his kidney disease. Is there any truth to that?
So aspirin on its own, so I could back that up a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna say a lot of us take lots of painkillers for whatever reason, whether it's to get over that drunk that we had the night before, or it's because we've been to the gym and we have a little muscle aches, we have headaches because of our pressure's too high. And so I'm gonna say not just aspirin, but I'm gonna go back at a lot of the painkillers. We call them NSAIDs, or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agents. There is a risk of kidney disease with them.
And what types of food is good to better take care of your kidneys?
That question is kind of two-pronged.
Okay.
I'm sorry for answering it in the direction that you didn't ask me to, but I'm going to say, how about some of the things that we avoid? So let's avoid some of the, we all love to drink that bush tea and that sort of thing. So there are some things that in terms of the bush teas that can cause kidney disease. We like to drink all of these herbal tonics that we don't know what are in them. There's a thing we call herbal nephropathy, and there's some of those that can cause it. I'll ask yours now. You asked what are the things we should eat. I think that anything that is anti-inflammatory, they talk about using the fish oils, flax seeds, chia seeds, anything that's anti-inflammatory may help with reducing kidney injury. And then I'm going to flip back to that very beginning, the way I started to answer it. What we really should do is avoid the things that are going to cause an increased weight, the things that are going to be pro-inflammatory, high calorie things, the alcohol, the social things like what's not eating but smoking. Those are some of the things that we can avoid doing so that we can have less kidney disease.
Wow, some very good information there. Thank you so much, Dr. Smith, for joining us here on the Morning Edition, and continue to save lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you, too.
Men, pay closer attention to your health. That's the message a local physician is offering up as he advocates the annual trip to the doctor's office. Here's Cleopatra Murphy.
Males are less likely than their female counterparts to seek medical help for their ailments, according to gastroenterologist Dr. Eugene Marcus Cooper. That being the case, he says they are less likely to have a primary health care provider and less likely to find out they have comorbidities like hypertension and diabetes, all risk factors for strokes, heart attacks, and kidney failure.
We have many men who, for whatever reason, do not access the healthcare system, end up with high blood pressure, are not aware of it, and have a stroke. They're no longer functional, they can't work, they can't provide for their families. With diabetes, it's much worse. These men sometimes will have amputations of the limbs because they don't feel their toes and their feet, and they get infections, and it progresses, and the circulation is poor.
That poor attention to health can lead to other issues like erectile dysfunction and a plethora of other problems, all driving home the importance of an annual checkup.
Once a year, around the time of your birthday, get yourself checked out. Have blood tests done, have your PSA done to see if you have any evidence of an enlarged prostate or prostate cancer. Get your blood sugar levels checked to see if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic. Get your kidney function checked to see if you're at risk of developing kidney failure and being on dialysis. General.
Cooper says most men, if they live long enough, will experience prostate issues. In fact, prostate cancer is said to be the second most common cancer in the country and the most common cancer in men. According to the doctor, men generally should get screened for prostate cancer at 40.
It's no longer mandatory to have that digital exam that most men are terrified of, but at least getting the blood test to see where you're at, if your numbers are abnormal, if you require further evaluation. So when I talk about men's health, I definitely always start from a general perspective and look at things that are more specific to men.
While the stabbing incident at the A.F. Adderley Junior High School last week fueled talk of more police presence in public schools, the principal of another government school commends the policing initiative.
We felt safe. Even with the incident, we felt safe.
When the clock strikes 9 a.m. Monday to Friday, dozens of students lined up on the government high school campus before heading to class to have their bags searched and cleared to avoid violence or incidents that may disrupt the school's face-to-face sessions in this COVID environment. Principal Eloise Wim says police officers have been stationed on that school's campus since October last year, and she revealed that the school policing initiative is working.
Besides the police officers, we have a team of administrators that work closely together. Administrators and teachers in partnership. If you were to visit the gate, the check is every student that comes into the gate, their bags are searched. We have metal detectors. And in addition to that, the healthy safety protocol, having them checked, thermometer, what have you. Walking the campus daily, that does it, okay? Search that were not planned, that does it.
Now, according to Principal Eloise Wims, these benches were erected to keep the peace among students on campus.
We have ordered some 20 additional picnic benches with tables. And the reason for that is we have made a change in where students are to gather during the lunch break and during the morning break. So no more are they allowed to gather within the school middle setting. They come on the outskirts, they're under trees, and since that we've also noticed More reading is taking place. The students are utilizing the benches to study.
And as we head to the break, we take a look back at today in Bahamian history. On March 29, 1934, the Duke and Duchess of Kent wrapped up a 16-day stay here in Nassau. Also on this day in 1996, government announced it would spend $16 million on the airport down there in San Salvador.
Visit Home Care and Electrical and Home Decor, your one-stop shop on Joe Farrington Road, just west of the traffic light. We carry a full line of electrical and plumbing supplies, a huge stock of appliances upstairs, refrigerators, stoves, freezers, washers, dryers, plus we have all the household items you need. Right next door, you'll find Andros Beauty Supply for all your health and beauty needs, from hair colors, facial creams and soaps, to weaves and caps and so much more. Home Care and Electrical and Home Decor and Andros Beauty Supply, all in one building, Joe Farrington Road, open every day, including Sunday.
At Home Care, we guarantee you the best prices in the Bahamas.
A big game last night for Buddy Hield, but it came at another losing effort for the Indiana Pacers as they went down 132-123 to Atlanta Hawks. Buddy had 26 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds in 38 minutes of action. The sharpshooter admits it's a bit of a challenge with only 8 players in uniform.
I mean, the second, third, and fourth, we didn't like really had as good as the first quarter we want. I mean, look at throughout the second, third, and fourth, we maintained. I think it was even keel and like going back and forth. And yeah, we missed some shots early in the first, but yeah, we just took our game plan and we trusted. We're down bodies, but still fun. It's a challenge. We just gotta keep grinding and building from this.
Bragging rights were on the line over the weekend at the Bahamas Youth Sailing Championships in Montague Bay. After 2 days of sailing, there could only be one winner for each of the categories. Taking the top prize in the Red Fleet would be Craig Ferguson. The Sunfish Fleet would go to Nicholas Davis, while Johnny Meindorf came out on top in the Laser Radial division.
It was really fun. I was a bit worried that I wouldn't win because my placements on yesterday weren't that good. I got a third, a second, and a 10th, and a 4th, and the 10th really threw me off. So today I knew I had to come back to do a lot of work and just focus on getting good results so I can try and win.
Very happy that I was able to win, and there was certainly a lot of competition out there. Like, everything was neck and neck. And the wind started picking up a lot today compared to yesterday. And I'm just tired. My hands are so tired right now.
Sailing's probably the biggest part of my life. I do it every day, mostly every day, and it's whether that's coaching or being a student. It's what I do for most of my free time, and it's probably, I don't know, it's like it's very relaxing, but at the same time it's very rigorous.
Seasoned entrepreneur and philanthropist Lincoln Deal joins us next time on Journey TV. Tune in to hear some of his greatest fights and failures and how these were turned into his biggest wins because of his relentless pursuit to fulfill purpose. Don't you miss this powerful episode. Tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on ZNS. Journey TV, we share life's truths.
As an artist, I travel all over the world and I find inspiration all around me. From the people and especially the environment. I love the Bahamas with all its natural beauty. From Abaco in the north to Inagua in the south and all the wonderful and colorful islands in between. But we must all do our part to keep the Bahamas healthy and clean, now and for the future generations. That's why I want you to find a little time to do your part. I'm doing my part because I care. Do you?
There's a spark of greatness in each of us. That spark is called personality. Individual gifts and talents provide the fuel to set that spark ablaze. Each child has the right to an education which values their personality and nurtures their talents, while teaching them to be respectful to their parents and their cultures.
The natural resources of the Bahamas play a critical role in supporting Bahamian livelihoods. For example, the fishing and tourism industry, which include fishermen, seafood exporters, hoteliers, dive operators, restaurants, and others. Collectively, they generate approximately $1.5 billion a year. Therefore, we must respect and preserve what we have. These resources belong to us.
This is my livelihood.
This is my livelihood.
This is my livelihood.
So let's all do our part to maintain our local economy and a good quality of life. Remember, if we take care of nature, nature will take care of us.
Well, it's Piano Day, and I'm about to get some lessons with pianist Cade Darling. Cade, welcome to the Morning Edition.
Hello, hello, hello. I am happy to be here.
So, Cade, talk to me a little bit about how did you get into, I guess, learning the piano?
Oh, well, you know, as a child, as a kid, you know, I looked up to various musicians and singers. And, you know, I think just like everybody else, you kind of get a love for music, just listening to music. And then I kind of got interested in learning how it all worked. And so I decided to beg my parents for a keyboard and then lessons, and the rest is history.
And speaking of lessons, are you going to play a little something for us on Piano Day? Play a little something for us.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, go ahead.
No problem.
It's Mermaid Day, and this morning, Crystal Darling gets up close and personal to celebrate this special occasion.
It's really all about having fun and being one with the ocean.
That's what Mermaid Sarah says it's all about. She's been the mermaid at the Atlantis Paradise Island Resort for the last year. Another important part of mermaiding is spreading awareness and encouraging others to keep the ocean clean.
I always try to make it a point to leave the beach cleaner than I found it, if we can, and just try to, you know, recycle and do things like use reusable bags and containers. All of these little things really help the big picture. And typically, if you love mermaids, you have to love the sea. You have to sort of learn to love the mermaid's home and about all of the creatures inside of it. And then you kind of then in turn also want to appreciate, love, and protect the ocean.
Mermaids are these beautiful, enchanting, mysterious creatures of the sea that have always been a part of history and literature. So to fully get a grasp of being a mermaid, I transformed. Swimming in a monofin requires leg strength and technique. And since she's a pro, Sarah showed me the ins and outs of swimming with a tail. This was quite enjoyable, but make no mistake, it's still a lot of hard work. Mermaid Sarah explains what keeps her inspired.
I have always loved people and children and meeting princesses and dreams coming true. And every time I meet somebody, I see that feeling of one of their dreams is coming true. I just want them to remember a really intense feeling of happiness. I want them to have fun, and I want them to walk away wanting to have that experience again. I want it to be like an important memory for them in their life, swimming with a mermaid.
At the end of the day, do I have what it takes to be a mermaid? Maybe. But I think for now, I'll stick to swimming without the tail. Happy International Mermaid Day.
Good morning again. I am here with small business owner of Nishmar Convenience Store in Fox Hill, Debbie Strawn. Good morning. Debbie Gibson. Okay, could you talk to us about the importance of owning a store?
Well, first you have to have good relationship with your neighbors in your community, and I got all that support from them, so that inspires me to keep going.
Okay, and how long have you been in business in this community?
For over 30 years, born and raised in this community, so yeah.
Okay, and in this community, we know that there are a lot of people coming in and out. What are some of the main things that you offer in your convenience store that people come to pick up?
Mostly everything in here, because sometimes I don't have the stuff and they come and ask, and I tell them what they don't see, ask me for, and I'll have it for them the next day. So that's how I get along in here. They come and support me like that, mostly for their groceries, their toiletries, even food.
Okay, and what are some of the challenges of being an entrepreneur?
Well, being in a small business, we can't buy in bulk like the big stores, so we can't compete with them. So the challenge sometimes is we can't get the stuff because the big store don't buy all the little stuff. So sometimes it leaves us without some of the stuff that we really need.
Okay. And what would you say to others who may be thinking about starting a small business in a community?
Go for it. Go for it. It's good. You meet people, you help people. Sometimes it'll be a challenge, but in here with me, I motivate my people would come in here. We have laugh, we have fun, so they support me, so I good with it.
Okay, thank you so much. Back to you in the studio, LaDawn.
Crystal, and be sure to stay tuned into the ZNS Network for news as it happens, TV and radio updates throughout the day. Then you can tune into the Northern Edition at 6:30 and the Bahamas Tonight at 7. And that's it for us this morning. For the entire team, I'm LaDawn Davis. Have a great day, everybody.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.